Absolutely just what the chef has ordered. This is absolutely astonishing, you guys. Is this the second phase of what we began in the very early months of 2019? This is the weekly chart, and what we're about to show you is absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to show you guys this. This is the very first time that Bitcoin has broken this key moving average since, and you know what happened after it did that last time? 250% gains for Bitcoin. But guys, what is different this time? This time, alts are absolutely popping off across the board. What does it mean? Is it all a scam? Is it all some sort of artificial pump? Would you just look at this? In fact, Bitcoin on even the hourly chart looks as though it wants to push higher, but we have to look at some other key levels on the daily chart to see what it's really facing now in terms of resistance and support, and what is going to happen with this price action. With that being said, I do want to keep an eye on Litecoin, Bitcoin, and the crypto's leading indicator. It is stuck at a key point as well, but this is a very decisive move. Clearly, we have broken the massive descending channel that we've been in for 7 months now for Bitcoin. We have clearly broken out of it. Now, will we come down and test it for support, or are things absolutely going to get much wilder than many people could have ever dreamt of? Wow, now that is what I'm talking about. I don't care what my mom says. If I want ice cream before dinner, that's what I'm gonna do because I'm a grown boy and I am much physically than you. Guys, let's get into the video. Wow, welcome back to the video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. We have so much exciting stuff today. Bitcoin has been absolutely, let's just be honest, Bitcoin's been an absolute blast to watch over the past few days. Ever since this inverse head and shoulders broke out, really, we could not have really dreamt of something more picture perfect and more beautiful than what we've received. It has been, no doubt, the gift that keeps on giving. But guys, this is where I advise caution. We don't give financial advice, but I definitely want to make sure, I love to be excited. I'm extremely excited, but you guys, make sure you have your eyes on the prize. Don't get too crazy and don't get too carried away, guys. Because guys, as you know, on this channel, there's one saying that sticks with us forever. When it pumps, it dumps, and when it dumps, it pumps. And that should serve as a warning to you to always keep yourself in check. So guys, before we get into the amazing technical analysis and the amazing possibilities and probabilities of what this market is about to do, because boy, I don't think you're gonna wanna miss it. Before we get into all that, guys, we gotta get this out of the way. We only have 15 more days till we give away these 2 ledgers on the channel. 2 people have a chance to win. All you have to do is leave a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, ding that bell. Follow me on Twitter, and let's just get into the good stuff. Absolutely beautiful. This is by far one of the most important things I want to talk about, but I want to start here, you guys. So clearly on the 1 hour chart, you can see after breaking out of the symmetrical triangle, we have just been climbing and climbing. And now it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what kind of pattern we are actually forming right now. In my opinion right now, we are still a little too early to say exactly what this is, but there are a few possibilities. This is possible. This is another inverse head and shoulders. Okay, there's a possibility there. There's also the possibility that this is an ascending channel, which I don't want to jump the gun here, guys. So keep in mind, I'm being cautious with these time frames. Again, this is the hourly time frame, so this is the least likely to be correct when you analyze these things. I really think lower time frames are not pointless, but they hold a lot less importance than like charts like the daily and the weekly chart. So I don't really like to get too tied up in small time frames, but when you're analyzing Bitcoin on a daily chart and you see this type of price action, it's definitely important to pay attention to because it gives you a little clue, a little hint as to what is coming and what is going on. And in fact, it is Bitcoin, as I'm filming this, for the last 20 or so minutes, Bitcoin seems to really be wanting to break this area right here, this neckline. And guys, I want you to keep this in mind. We draw these necklines where there's most resistance. Okay, so we had wicks, but they immediately come down within hourlies, okay? So this validates this level here. And now we actually broke above this, okay? But then you see the same thing happened. It came back down, okay? And now we're trying yet again to get above this area. So this is very key in my opinion. And if we actually are able to break above it significantly, if we get to like 89,900, then let the horses run because things are gonna get absolutely full of, things will be insane. It'll be a creamy delight. Absolute breakfast dessert that we'd all be really hungry for, to be honest. Now, I really think this is interesting, guys. Where Litecoin is finding resistance out of its own descending channel out of the last 7 months, okay, where it's finding resistance is at a key area right about here where it has historically found a lot of resistance, okay, right around that $58, $60 mark. So again, that's reflective of the entire market because Bitcoin is facing its own similar resistance at the same exact thing. What's key for Bitcoin here is if Bitcoin can break this level and go above 9,000, 9,000 is absolutely critical. It gets us back into this descending triangle. And what I mentioned at the beginning of this video is absolutely key, you guys. Absolutely key. I want to get back to this chart, but I do want to draw your attention to this, you guys. So for the first time since April 1st, beautiful day, 2019, as we broke out of this textbook ascending triangle, after falling out of this descending triangle, okay, I'll draw it real quick there, descending triangle down, ascending triangle up. So for the first time since then, what do you see? We're finally above this blue 21-week moving average right here. You can see for the first time. Now this weekly close is absolutely crucial. We have some very, very possible bullishness on the MACD here, which could just culminate beautifully with this. We see the volume picking up a little bit, but we really need to see that increase in volume. And could it all culminate in a massive bounce out of here? Guys, that's why I'm not too hesitant. I do think that a pullback, we say pump and dump, that when there's a pump, there's a dump. So naturally you would think right now a dump would be likely and very healthy and possible. But I don't want to underestimate just how absolutely prime these current market structures are, okay? We have a break out of a 7-month descending channel. We have getting above this 21-week moving average. We break out of it with this inverse head and shoulders textbook, like you can only imagine in the fairy tales. Absolutely amazing here, okay? Not only that, we get above this insanely, even more important in my opinion than anything else I just mentioned, purple structure line. Things are just primed. So while there still could be a pullback right now, guys, I definitely think that we are entering some territory that is going to be just as familiar as what we saw in April of 2019, an absolute mad lad run, okay? An absolute mad lad run. I definitely think that's a possibility, but this time I think it is different. I think this was part of a consolidation phase. We weren't necessarily out of the woods yet. We can't go from a descending triangle, okay, to an ascending triangle, and boom, it's moonshot forever, okay? I think right now our chances are primed that we really are actually entering much, much, much more bullish territory, okay? The market itself is just primed for it. You need to look at these things on a macro scale, which is mainly what I base my TA on, is just understanding the ebb and flow of the entire market, how the entire market is feeling. Okay, guys, and I want to say this one thing before we switch back to the other chart. Anybody with common sense would know as soon as we break out of here, we all knew this, everyone had this sinking feeling in their chest. We all knew that we weren't going to be back at 20,000 within 2 months. Okay, guys, we knew as soon as we broke out of here, wow, this is going to go on a little bit longer than we expected. This is going to go on a little bit longer than we had hoped when this happened. Okay, but now overall, that was a macro play right there. Now we are forming that same thing. Okay, that same exact thing. And now the decision is this actually the catalyst? And every sign, in my opinion, right now is pointing to yes. Again, pullbacks are necessary. And in fact, I actually have wanted a pullback for the last day or two, but we continue to climb. So I'm not going to complain. But as of right now, if we can hold this 21-week moving average and we we get to 9,000, guys, it's almost better than I could dream of. Not to mention, I want to remind you guys of this. Remember this pattern we talked about? If Bitcoin could break up out of its ascending triangle, hit this, we would get extremely bullish. Well, that is literally exactly what happened. We bounced up into here, formed a symmetric triangle over a few days, and absolutely blew up again. So what is in store now, guys? Again, I do think that coming back down to test this descending channel would not be a bad sign. Coming down to a little under $8,000 would not be a bad sign. But for right now, the momentum seems to be swinging very much so to the upside. And guys, just to, this is actually going to be the most exciting part of the video here. If we have another increase, if this is the real increase like we saw back in April, kind of the test one, where we tested it, consolidated for 7 straight months. Now, if we are truly entering this entire consolidation phase right here, guys, if we are truly exiting this and entering a massive run as we break the 21 week, as we just have, literally just broke it, if we break it, if we continue off of here, and let's say we get a pump, I personally think the gains would be much stronger than this, but let's say percentage-wise we get the same gains that we did in the middle of 2019, about 250%, guys. This is going to look wild, but this ultimately would be the start. This would be the absolute catalyzation of the bull market. Now, what would that take us to? If that actually happened, let me draw that back on here. If we actually I want to take it from here, 250, because that was a little too high. If we take it from there, guys, what is that? 26,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. Now that is absolutely astounding if that could actually happen. If that actually was the case, I don't think it would stop there, because then by then it would be full on bull mode, all-time highs would be broken, and it would be reminiscent to 2017. Now guys, as I said, rein it in, bring in the excitement. Okay, we've been talking about the most bullish possibilities on this channel for the past month or two. And so far, every single bullish possibility that we've talked about has proven to be just as bullish, maybe even a little more bullish than what we have been talking about. So this seems very bullish now, you guys, but the likelihood of this happening is much more realistic than you might think. I don't want to get you guys too excited, but boy, am I excited. And just seeing all of this data come together really just makes me absolutely go bonkers mode, to be honest. I'm just extremely excited for this. Absolutely. I've been waiting for this for years, guys. I've been in the market for years now at this point, and seeing something similar to 2017 happen again is one of the most enthralling things that I could think of. Now, also, I want to point your attention to this. Would that look realistic on a longer term chart of Bitcoin? This is only going back on this chart that I have for Coinbase, 2015. Does this look realistic? Yes, this does not look out of the ordinary at all. Okay, this very much looks like a possibility. This looks very, very steep. Well, a little bit steeper, but we do have to keep in mind that when a bull mode starts, then like something like this, nobody would have expected this, then things really do get steep. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like this, like a curve like this. It could just be like this. Okay, we can draw it out like this instead. Okay, absolutely a possibility. I really, really don't like when people just look at past of what Bitcoin's done and say, well, this is what it'll do now. And that's even what like most of those longer term charts of like 10 years down the road. I just don't think that makes any sense, because what you're literally doing in that situation is saying, here's 10 years of Bitcoin, here's the next 10 years of Bitcoin. It is not that predictable, in my opinion. I don't think anything is that predictable. So guys, very exciting stuff. Let me know what you think. This video got very excited. This video got me very excited towards the end of it. Wow, I almost didn't expect to get this hyped up. But if these things continue to be these bullish, again, I do actually expect a pullback soon. I would think there would be. But as you can see, as I'm filming this, again, Bitcoin is really just trying to even break out of this pattern here, guys. Only have less than like $50 to try and break the top of this and continue and climb to 9,000. Absolutely amazing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Love you. Talking to the next one. Peace.